Hello! So, just when I thought I had Finland all figured out, you guys throw a new curveball at me. Why would you settle here all those years ago when it hurts? It hurts. We start at the beginning. So, I was on a connecting flight from Amsterdam to Helsinki, and there was this guy on the plane who smiled at me quite a few times. So, when I ended up next to him as we were getting off the plane, I had to be like, "You're Dutch, right?" And he said, "How do you know that? I could just as well have been Finnish." So I was like, "No, because you've been smiling at me for the last 2 hours and there is no evidence of your ass on your shoulders." So he said he knew I wasn't Finnish either because, and I quote, "You've been smiling since we could see snow." Turns out that smile wouldn't last all that long. The snow was cute for all of 5 minutes. And then it started to hurt. Like, breathing hurts. My face hurts. The little bit of skin that sticks out between my coat and my glove, because I can't fit my mold hand into a glove, hurts. My feet hurt. Turns out you have to warm your head. I didn't know this my first day, and it felt like someone had stabbed me in the brain with something made of ice, and it hurt. Did your parents ever say to you, "Stop pulling that face or it will get stuck like that"? That's true here. I had my face frozen into a frown and spent the rest of the day trying to relax the face, and it didn't work, and I now have wrinkles. I also have a voice note from my friend. She's South African and she moved to England. This voice note, she complains of how cold it is. She goes, "Taryn, it's 2 degrees outside. 2. Now before I got here, I would have been like, damn, that's cold. But now all I have to say is, Amy, it's minus 27 degrees outside. Minus 27. And everything freezes over. What was once steps is now a treacherous hill of doom on which people die. I've had to learn to walk again as I try to keep my balance while my feet slide about out under me. I've just realized I look like Bambi. Bambi is a really good description of how I look when I'm trying to walk on ice. You can now call me Bambi. You know how it looks when a young girl tries to walk on heels for the first time? That's how it looks. That's me on ice. And I mean, I've already fallen once, and I think I'm actually going to keep a counter of the number of times I fall. But the weirdest part of this whole experience was that no one laughed at me. I mean, I laughed at myself. It was hilarious. I slid quite a long way. I slid so long that halfway through I had time to think to myself, I'm not going to fight this anymore because I'm getting down a lot quicker. Other people just looked at me like, silly Bambi. If that had happened in South Africa, people would be pointing and laughing in my face. Any single person that walked past would have a comment. People would befriend me just so that they would stay in my life long enough to make sure I didn't forget what just happened. But yeah, as much as the cold and the snow hasn't been so nice to me just yet, any single time I look up from my desk and I see this white blanket over everything, I can't help but be distracted by how beautiful it is from indoors. Very beautiful from indoors. But yeah, let's see if I learn to walk anytime soon. Also, it was requested that I make a Q&A video, and since I like to follow through with requests, I'm gonna do it. So if you have any questions for me, please let me know. However, Q&A videos tend to be quite... Q&A videos tend to be quite boring. So try and make the questions interesting. Don't ask me, what are you doing in Finland? I'm falling on my ass. That's what I'm doing in Finland. Something interesting, something, yeah, any topic whatsoever. And I will make that video as soon as possible. Also, this guy requested to have his name in a video. Just saying, I haven't heard ding dong since I was 13. But anyway, I will see you next week. Bye!